Hey everyone, this is Jamie. Um, I don't know how long this video will be, and as you know, I usually, if you're not new, you know that I usually take this in one take because I like to keep it authentic. I like doing this as if I'm doing a talk, and I like, even though I obviously do pauses and different sort of parasite words or noises, I do prefer to keep it without editing, which I've done in the past. So yeah, so basically today I want to talk about depression and dysphoria and expectations on tea. Um, well, I've been on tea for quite a while now, and the more time goes, the more I see that people or trans mask and trans guys who go on tea really have a lot of expectations going, and sometimes guys and transmasculine people who start, they have certain specific expectations like, oh, I feel like I will be slimmer, or oh, I will build muscle much more faster, or I will look like guy A, B, C, or whatever. And I wanted to say that there's nothing wrong with actually having specific goals or thinking that you will achieve a certain look or aiming to build certain muscle or be more muscular or etc. But what I wanted to say was that sometimes it's better to be realistic about your goals. And by realistic, I really mean to assess how much time have you been on T and to never obviously compare your transition to others because everybody reacts differently. So, in my case, for instance, it took longer than most guys to stop bleeding. Yeah, and that was a thing which really bothered me for a long while. And I wanted it as one of the first things to be gone, and it was one of the first things. So I had to wait for that. But in general, I do understand that my experience in T has been quite good. Obviously, I've had some side effects throughout the years. I've had to adjust my dose. I've had to get some medication here and there, and obviously I struggle from bipolar and depression. I have to separate these two because for some reason medically there's all separate, and I do have very, very strong depression sort of lows, specifically which I'm going through right now. So it's kind of hard to film the video, but I figured that maybe it's just going to be beneficial for me to talk about my struggles. And yeah, it's kind of, I feel like a lot of people who go into HRT think that obviously I will go on HRT is gonna fix my mood, and it does actually fix the mood to an extent. And obviously you start to get used to your image and etc. And you feel much more confident. But at the same time, it's very important to be guided by someone. I do understand that, for instance, I'm very, very, very kind of closed up about my transition when it comes to psychologists, and I just simply don't enjoy discussing it because when I first started T, I had one psychologist, and this is my third one right now, and I had to change my first one because he was way too pushy about my transition. My second one was because he would not understand my childhood trauma that much. And well, I'm on the third one right now, so I can't complain right now, and I really enjoy my psychologist right now, so that's good. But obviously, certain things have to be taken into consideration, and I do think like as a sort of better rule, it is to have people who can monitor you, whether it's a psychiatrist, a psychologist, or someone who knows what they're doing and knows what you're going through, because you need to have some support. I mean, I do understand that if you're a loner or a hermit or whatever you identify as, um, because I do really, really understand, like, I myself, very, very kind of reserved in many, many aspects. So, I'm sorry, my dog is being a pest, but that's okay. So basically, what I wanted to say was that you still need some guidance. And when it comes to the internet, there's a lot of bro science out there, which can be good, cannot be good. There's a lot of people who I see think that, okay, I'm gonna go and see and then I'm gonna drop it. And I do understand that in the US, it's literally you pay and then you get what you want if you have the right money. But it's not obviously like that in many states. It's not like that everywhere. HRT is not given as easily. You have to fight for HRT. You have to wait years. You have to wait until the right conditions allow. You have to find the right doctors. You have to find the right country. You have to live in a place which is accepting as well, and ideal. So there's a lot of factors which sort of hinder on our mental health, and I really wanted to focus on the fact that people have very high expectations for tea, and I do understand that uh, some people really push the sort of agenda that we have to be very, very miserable to go on tea, and those who remain on tea, and I really feel like there's some sort of like minority these days who is obviously very loud about getting off tea. There's a lot of detransitioners, there's a lot of turfs, and I understand that tea is obviously not the answer to everything, but I do want to say that please get assessed, please understand what tea does, please understand what it will do to you, please understand that there might be waiting times, there might be side effects, which tea isn't going to the grocery store and choosing, like, oh, I want a bigger zig, oh, I want hairy arms, oh, I want this, I want that. And people seem to forget that. I can't speak for all HRT, obviously, but I can only speak about from my experience, and that's what I mostly focus on. So I really wanted to make sure that people do understand that when it comes to tea, you have to be open-minded, you have to give it time, because some things just end up showing up later. Sometimes you have to look at your family history. Like, for instance, I didn't think that I'd be going bald, and then I had to go on minoxidil. And I didn't think that minoxidil would even work on me in the first place, and it did. I got my hair back. And I was thoroughly hiding the fact that I was going bald. But yeah, so speak to your doctor about your concerns. I am very open towards my doctors when it comes to my physical stuff, and it's just that I kind of get a bit anxious when it comes to like dysphoria and stuff, because I feel like that's more personal. And even I have dysphoria. Like, I've seen people, well, it's not that I've seen it, I literally live with, with passing. So, but it took me years. I'm like 27 right now. And I just wanted to emphasize that it was not an easy path. It was very, very difficult. I had to pay a very, very hard price. And it does make me happy. But of course, I still struggle from depression. It's like saying if you do X, everything will be okay. It never happens. There's reasons movies have bad sequels. um, so yeah, I just wanted to touch on that as very specifically. And I want to make sure that everyone does make a really, really good look and decision at tea. And I also wanted to say that it's not a good idea to keep hopping on and off tea or getting off tea. without a medical supervisor. And please do trust your medical supervisor and try to read some opinions from doctors and etc. I understand that it's very frustrating that we have to be very educated about this. Like, I really, really get annoyed at that. But that's just the way things are right now. I don't know if they're gonna change more or if it's gonna get worse. I really don't know. I really can't say because the world is a very, very violent place these days. So yeah. I'm sorry that the videos have been shorter than my usual half an hour, but I'm trying. And I also want to say that if you're depressed, obviously, I believe in you, that you can overcome it, and try to find energy within you to ask for help, because it's very, very important. Also, there's a lot of people who are willing to help, whether it's online or in person, and just don't feel alone. Also, I wanted to say that James Charles is still not in jail. I'm just making a point out of this until he goes to jail. And my last thing is, I do talk a lot about how I do not accept society's perception of masculinity as bad, and I've been getting a bunch of dislikes on that. And normally I don't address them. To be honest, I don't address a lot of comments because I'm not a very chatty person when it comes to such things due to abuse, which I've received in the past, childhood, and etc. And I wanted to say that if you're watching a video where I say something like people are saying that masculinity is toxic and do not listen to dudes talk about it, and you put a dislike, you're just proving my point. Thank you.